I think that, for me, you could hear from the tone of the interview a note of apology, and not undeserved. I mean, I really like Colin Firth as an actor, and I really like him as a person and a gentleman, all the rest of it. Everyone keeps talking about him as having national treasure status. I think when he was saying things like, this is comic comfort food, that's sort of setting the alarm bells ringing in the first place. I mean,
is that like getting a report for how your child is behaving? And they say something like,
trying,
has an extensive vocabulary.
That's right, yes. Trying, still trying, still very trying. Exactly. So, and Cameron Diaz said it was like Blake Edwards. And believe me, this is no Blake Edwards. See, the thing about it is that, and also it's interesting in that interview, they said we had a lot of fun making it. And it is often the case with comedy, particularly with farce, incidentally, that the more fun you have making it, the less fun anybody has watching it. I have to be honest, I didn't find it funny. And that's a problem. And part of me goes, okay, well, I'm not crazy about farce anyway, although actually I do like farce when it's well done. But farce is like, watching good farce is like watching a Swiss watch working. The mechanics of it are what make it funny. The mechanics of it are what impress you and what make you laugh, because you're almost kind of, bedazzled by the way in which the doors open, the doors shut, all that sort of stuff happens. The lower end of farce is basically when everything else fails, get somebody to lose their trousers because, Fnar, Hoff, quack, that's always... Honk, yes. That's always funny. Any movie, for me, in which people losing their trousers is not just a gag but a major plot point, is stretching a point. But in the case of this...
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
It's a sort of film criticism question.
Okay.
What, is a caper...
Yeah.
The same sort of thing as a farce?
No, a farce is like a caper but done faster and more shrilly within. It's like, what was that thing? Somebody said, opera is large people shouting at each other. Farce is skinny people shouting at each other in their underwear.
So a caper?
A caper is, a farce is caper plus speed minus trousers.
And is a caper always comedic?
It has a comedic element, but it doesn't have to be comic. Whereas in the case of farce, it does have to be comic. I feel like this is like doing an A-level paper.
This is a comedic caper with farcical overtones.
No, this is trying to be a farce. Okay. And the problem is, what it demonstrates is that farce is really hard to pull off, and you really have to be a masterful director to get it right. And I'm afraid that what we have here is not a case of a masterful director. That's why I said, when makes that reference about it's like Blake Edwards. I mean, Mike Hoffman did Restoration and Soap Dish and One Friday Last Station. All of them are better than this. Blake Edwards, when he was at his peak, actually was pretty good at doing farce. There is this whole... It looks to me like a movie which has been made by people looking in to British farce from outside and thinking that there is just something inherently funny about the spectacle of quaint Brits in spectacles and their underpants getting shut out of rooms in the Savoy. And the whole trouser thing, it's not just that he loses his trousers. That sequence goes on and he loses his trousers, then he's out on a balcony and he loses his trousers, and then he drops his trousers onto a tree, and then he has to do a lot to his people. Where are your trousers? My trousers are hanging on. Why are your trousers hanging on?
He only loses his trousers once. It's just they stay off.
Yeah, and then there's an extended running gag about Alan Rickman is a nudist, right? Alan Rickman's a nudist. Is he a nudist? No, he said he was a nudist. He said he was a naturist. I didn't know he was a nudist, which enables not just the dream sequence in which Alan Rickman holds a meeting in the buff.
Don't you think that's a funny moment?
No.
He's holding the meeting and it's a glass table and Colin Firth is trying not to...
No, I didn't. No. And I mean, that gag's done better in Austin Powers, with the bananas and things. And then there's the butchular gag. And it's almost like every time the movie runs out of steam, it goes pants. But trousers hanging on trees, men in pants in the Savoy, hanging off balconies, bottoms, and that's what it felt.
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah, fine. There is, a brand of comedy which would do that and get away with it. I mean, the other thing that Colin Firth said in that interview, he said there's nothing more honest than a belly laugh, and he's absolutely right. And had there been a belly laugh, I would have been the first to admit it. I mean, my version of that is there's no such thing as a cheap laugh. And although I say that facetiously, I do also mean anything that makes you laugh has some kind of quality to it for whatever reason. The fact is, I did and I wanted to laugh. I like these people. I really like these people, and I wanted this to be a sort of, snappy, finger-popping Blake Edwards inspired throwback comic comfort food, all those things. I wanted it to be all those things, and it just came off the screen and died in front of me. And it was a really strange experience, because what happens is you start watching, you start thinking, why isn't this funny? Is it not funny because there is some essential problem with farce? Is it not funny because the Coens read? So I mean, the Coens have taken on things like, Lady Killers, which actually their reinvention of Lady Killers compared with this seems, majestic and somehow rejuvenating. I mean, people have compared this to Intolerable Cruelty. Intolerable Cruelty is much funnier, much funnier. I know that people didn't particularly like that movie, but that is a much funnier movie. With this, it is almost like whatever the script was like, and Colin Firth had said that when he first read the script, he laughed out loud. Well, then perhaps it would have been preferable to read the script. It's not that he's not reading the script; it's that it had. I'm afraid that the failure for it has to lie in the end at the feet of the director, because so much so with farce. I mean, it's not just that Cameron Diaz plays it much too broad. Colin Firth does kind of get away with it. He makes the best of a bad job, but Cameron Diaz it's much too broad. The gag is culture clash. Oh well, he's uptight, spectacles, and it's the millionaire art dealer. She is a chicken plucker who rides.
She's Crocodile Dundee, rodeo. Basically.
Yeah, but she's no Paul Hogan. I mean, again, you can put it next to Crocodile Dundee, and we can be as sniffy as we want about Crocodile Dundee. The first Crocodile Dundee was funny. It was. There's no two ways about it. That scene in it when he, says that's not a knife. This is a knife. Or when he finally discovers what a bidet's for. Those are what Colin Firth was referring to as honest belly laughs. So the problem that you have here is because of the caliber of the people involved in it, because of the Coens' involvement, because of Colin Firth's involvement. I mean, Cameron Diaz is a perfectly fine comic actress, as she's proven elsewhere. Putting together, attempting to make something which is farce, and farce only works if it's like Chaplin, modern times, clockwork, and people being caught up in machines. I mean, that's the root of it all anyway. And that whole thing about the bawdiness of people losing their trousers and running into rooms, and then there's a woman who wasn't expecting to be in the thing, and then there's a riler, all that stuff can only work if the machine is fantastically well oiled. It is not true that farce is a fallback safety position. Okay, we can't think of anything else to do. I know, do farce. And again, to refer to that interview, which was very good, what he seemed to be saying was having come off the back of things like, Single Man and King's Speech, having did the role, he wanted to kick back and relax. He wanted to do something that was, that was easier. What this demonstrates is there is nothing easy about farce. There really isn't. When it works because somebody has machine tooled it to within an inch of its life. And I think the key things are, if they enjoyed themselves that much on set, that's probably why you don't enjoy it that much in the thing, because there on the screen, it's not funny. It will do very well in its opening week because people will go, oh, Coens are involved. Oh, Colin Firth's involved. Oh, Cameron Diaz is involved.
All very bankable.
Yeah. Oh, Alan Rickman's involved. Cancel Christmas. By week 2, it'll be chundering its way back out of the top 10 because there's no. I mean, what did you think?
Well, I enjoyed it more than you did.
Okay.
It's not funny enough.
It's not funny.
And here's the thing. The opening title sequence is so irritating. Do you remember it's a cartoon?
Oh, yeah. It's a sort of Pink Panther-esque.
It is, which is why I was thinking, okay, I get the Blake Edwards thing. But it basically does the whole movie in cartoon form before it's even
Before you've
started.
seen it. So you go, why have they got the. And also, didn't you feel that when it got to
It should have been at the end, that bit at the end. Yeah, you might have stayed and watched it. Yeah, but don't put it at the beginning.
But also, in that opening sequence, they refer to the karaoke sequence, which is a kind of gag which sort of borders on the let's laugh at funny foreigners. I mean, I know that the gag is then kind of inverted, but there is a bit of that in it.
But Colin Firth and Alan Rickman, they're just so watchable that even though it isn't anywhere near funny enough, I still sort of quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, when I see Colin Firth and Alan Rickman, I want them to be allowed to do. Yes, exactly. I want it to be better.
Could do better. See me.
Yeah.